Welcome. This video is going to be about something else, but real quick, just a little update. I started another compilation video of KT boundary related. This one I looked for 67 million years. So the first two videos were 66 million, where I literally searched geology 66 MA and then geology 60 or 65 MA for the first two videos with KT boundary in there and other variations. But basically, very general searches to get just as many possible results as possible. As many results as possible. And then I decided to do 67 in the last day or two and found some, like, just to see what I would find, and started finding some, like, applicable things that are actually saying, like, 67, blah, 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 blah. So I started those, and along the way, I came across these. So in my first two videos, including Chicxulub, I list 12 total impact craters potentially based that are written of in technical papers based on stratigraphy. Usually it seems like it's based on like the latest layer that was impacted is the Maastrichtian, and so therefore this is a KT boundary impact based on stratigraphy, or plausibly. So we are proposing in this paper that that's the case, and then like someone comes in and does radiometric dating and determines, well, that's not at the KT boundary time, and so therefore it's not what we're looking for in some cases, not always. Some of them are just not, like, to my knowledge, responded to. But so I came across this one, Donetsk, Ukraine, of all places, is this paper of a second twin impact, and I heard since that the Kara twin impact is actually considered a single impact, which is kind of mind-boggling. I'm like, are they even the same dates? Pretty sure they're probably not the same dates, like the Clearwater ones or whatever. The ones in Canada that were initially considered to be the, like, twin impacts, but then they were dated so significantly differently, they had to be just, like, considered coincidentally adjacent impacts. But the reality is that they're caused by undercurrents that was flowing and then created an impact, and then was still flowing and created an impact. So that they're proximal to one another is because that's just like a weak point region, and that they're not simultaneous is because they weren't simultaneous. So in this case, it may be in both of Kara. I'm not sure how. I couldn't find anything else on this, but essentially Astroblem, which is a impact crater, it's another term for it. Large crater made by an impact. So a twin. These depressions are considered to be astroblems produced at the Cretaceous Tertiary boundary. That's two more, that makes 14, plus this one, Manson impact crater, which has, in this paper, was proposed to be Cretaceous Tertiary, even based on radiometric dating techniques. And then in this, who the main lead author is also in this paper. So I think, and also the second author is there. These two are not in this paper, but the main author of this paper and the secondary author are the main author and secondary author of this paper. So they're like, it gives credence to that they're like later on concluding that it's not at the KT boundary, and so there's probably significant merit that it's not at the KT boundary. But interestingly, this one talks about using an unconventional dating technique, which arrives at a different conclusion. So our laser fusion technique, this technique, provides a different result, which is interesting. I don't know what to make of it. I've been coming across different ages in the same locations based on different dating methods and in different rocks. It seems to be like dependent on the circumstances. They choose certain methods, which then give different ages, and then it's considered like different offense in some way. And I'm starting to wonder if it's much more simultaneous and dependent on the components present in terms of what radiometric dating result is. Also, I found in several papers from 67 million years, whatever reason, 67 million years brought up not just one, but multiple papers that presented to me a analysis of radiometric dating where they specifically say we see that this argon was like lost. There's a lost argon in this rock that we acknowledge because of stratigraphy. Basically, based on just layers, like here's a layer on top of it. It should be older, but this one actually dates older, and so like based on that, this upper layer lost, or the bottom layer that dates older lost some argon that would have made it appear younger. And so this kind of thing is happening at the KT boundary, interestingly, where multiple papers like approaching the KT boundary. I've never seen that even talked about because, in my opinion, it literally disproves the interpretation that radiometric dating is constant. Like, it shows an instance where it happens locally, but it basically proves the potential is there that it could happen more in a more widespread manner, where it just universally, everywhere we look at least, it appears as if this like lost time has passed, and then we don't account for it. In these cases, it's just one layer, so we're able to notice. But if we're all of our existence is in one layer, relatively speaking, then we may not notice that that layer experienced lost time just by some process where it lost what we measure now to then use as a clock to make it appear as if more time passed. Like this layer, the younger layer that is like once accounted for that the argon was lost, they're like, okay, we fixed it. Now we recognize it was younger and it's appropriate. Everything makes sense now. The layers are in line. It's just this layer lost argon. To me, I was just like, proof positive. Okay. So I got into a discussion today. Not an argument at all, which is cool. It's just literally a discussion about specifically about these things. Or not these things. I was looking around. These things, the Diki Delta boulders, or whatever, the spheres, the stone spheres of Costa Rica. It's Diki spheres or something. Pardon me for not even knowing how to pronounce it. It's like, how dare you have a say on the matter already? Like, I've seen them before, and I've generally just, like, every time I've saw them, I've been like, those, like, why do we interpret these to be man-made? I'm literally losing hair. I'm like, I think I'm losing my hair. I need to, like, be healthy. Maybe this helps me realize what my deficiencies are, like, in a more clear way, so I can address things, because it's almost like, the more things go wrong, the more what is wrong becomes clear and visible. Where when there's just like a subtle thing going like off kilter, like if someone eats a cheeseburger, their body's not going to respond. But if they eat a cheeseburger for 5 decades every day, it might have ramifications. Anyway, pardon me, I'm just trying to explain why I had a tab about, oh, how do I get my hair healthy, baby? Oh, it's because it's falling out. I'm like, that's a lot of hair. Is it because it's longer? I mean, it's definitely because it's longer that I can see more hair. Like, that adds to it. So I got to multiply. Like, each hair is actually, like, several hairs, really. Like, if I were to have shorter hair and see, like, some hair, I wouldn't be like, ah. But then I'm like, I'm definitely losing some hair. And I don't know if it's just like that time where it's kind of receding or if I'm like fucking utterly not maintaining my. That's what I'm concerned about. I'm like, given my utter disregard for my health. Ha 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 ha. Dumbass. Okay. Anyway. So maybe I should pay more attention to my health. I'm really thinking like it needs to happen soon. Like I'm gonna stop making videos like I have been. I've said enough. I really have, unless I discover something like truly significant again. Like what I'm gonna talk about, as significant as it is to add another, to keep adding to this list of boulders that look like these. Like so, there's the Moeraki boulders, which are in New Zealand. I mean, some of them are spherical, some of them are less spherical. But then there's the Diki spheres, which are quite spherical, for sure. I would say anomalously spherical. I can certainly acknowledge the frequency of their actual shape being like approaching a sphere is quite high. But I was thinking about it and I was like, well, maybe it's legitimately because of where it is. Like, so these are in Costa Rica. Found in a delta, so like where flood waters deposited things. Maybe spheres. I don't know. I'd be curious how thoroughly these have been looked for, like over here. I believe they're here. And I guess here. So, like, if they're literally littering this region too, to a degree they're detectable, I would say that would really seal the deal, if you will. Like, they're probably there. I mean, these have been uncovered. A lot of them have been dug up since realizing they were there, since they started to be exposed. But that doesn't mean they haven't been exposed down here, especially in the waters. Like, it's possible with just current flowing around them that they would have like half in the water, half in the sand-ish type material. Like some of them exposed at points where it's just like, what did they bring it out here? They took this ball, they put it out here. I don't know what the depth is. Like, it's possible the depth is below around 110 meters, so it's even too low to make sense from some like ancient society kind of standpoint. But so this... Costa Rica. Where was it? It was right here. Right here. It was here. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and especially where they're at. Okay. They're in this, like, wedge. So if we look over here, this way, and then it goes kind of up into here. Like, whatever was flowing this way had a width that was probably generally pushing into this region. And I guess swirling these spheres that were either being made in the process or just being moved after being made in other ways. Exactly exactly how, I don't know. Like, it's certainly eddies that are forming, that are producing fields that then bring particles below and etch around that way, and above and etch around that way, and just create a sphere, like a magnetic field kind of flows that induce a sphere in such a, like, perfection that the current was high and able to do it, which, like, it is not unheard of given that Hawaii formed as a sphere. I know people don't know that, and so it's kind of unheard of, but I've talked about it, so it's actually heard of. It's just not loudly been heard of because it's still unknown to the general public, kind of thing, and talked about in that kind of manner. But I've established these formed as the interior surface of a sphere, just like a Meraki boulder that now lays down. Meraki boulders broken images like this. This one was more so just sitting here, I guess, whereas Hawaii was formed as a sphere just like this, but way bigger, that physically rolled in the ocean and broke apart as it rolled, leaving behind these islands, and having the outer shell on which it was rolling depositing on the surface of the ocean, while the inner shell is exposed as the top of the islands. So that's one boulder like this. That's a different scale as between planets. So planets are spherical, stars, generally speaking, when they're, I mean, they're not inherently, it's just like when the circumstances make them kind of unit particle like. The more unit particle like, the more they approach having like a balanced pressure from all directions in a way that just shapes it into a sphere, which then behaves as like a single node, like a single point, but then is actually fractal, so that it's got all the things within that system to a point where it's literally just another octave on the span from infinitesimal to infinite in nature, where atoms are just in the middle there below these things, but these things are like atoms on this scale, as crazy as that is. These are probably more like molecules also in some ways, where like these are different atoms that have broken apart in some like energetically stable way that I can't really even, though maybe as a chemical engineer that should be the thing I'm able to bring to the table most, is chemistry based interpretations of things. It's really, I don't know what to say except for maybe something of that nature. I mean, odds are something of that nature, but exactly how to describe it in a more technical way, I don't know. So these are certainly less spherical, but maybe it's just less at the point of focus. It seems like this was over here and then going generally up this way, with Papua New Guinea going to here and then essentially Australia going down to here. This was here and this was here. So Costa Rica, this location here, was the very tip of this shape, which was right here. This location was literally right here, adjacent to this inlet underneath South America that was fanning out like a flame in the magnetic anomaly map. But then I haven't really inspected this region that much. I just know, generally speaking, this was the present day northeast corner here, and then down here, maybe around this region, like a seal was maybe around there. That is generally what bubbled out here to break the bond, basically. So that would mean Costa Rica was even like very proximal to where this was forming, like very proximal. I mean, let's look at the animations I've made in this area. Like this starts to move away and reveals New Zealand down here. Costa Rica is pretty much like feeding into this current up here, coming down this way, feeding in this way. There's a current basically flowing that way. There's another current flowing up this way, and another this way. Maybe what's happening is like this current going this way it's possible it's mostly fed by this current. I've generally historically interpreted this current going underneath Papua New Guinea as like something going this way, down this way, generally down this way. Like from the North Pole region down this way. And then through underneath. But it's possible that what's actually happening is the current going up this way and the current going this way are colliding and then shooting off more so this way. It's possible, like this way. And also behind it there, like going the opposite in the pinched region between, like producing bubble particles of this size in like truly spheres, in just the intensity of the currents flowing that then went like more so propagated this way from here this way towards New Zealand, but like some of which went over into this region and like had this little pocket to eddy in. So I looked around. So that's my thoughts. Is like maybe it's possible that they're not touched by man, and that this is all straight up Let's see. Hoops, Dequee, sphere. Something like that. So the person I was talking to recommended I check out what... Where is he? Hoops. John Hoops, that's right. Said about these... Who, by the way, blocked me when I pointed out something. I literally quoted him and he blocked me. Too bad. Hey, man. Don't even make sense. Okay. Anyway. But he basically says... Where is his quotes? In 2014, UNESCO placed the spheres on the World Heritage List, calling them special objects of wonder and admiration, which are rare in their perfection of large-sized spherical structures, but are also distinct for their number and location. So their number. So like if someone's making these, and they make them in the quantity, like basically we see these spheres. All these spheres are sitting around. If there's 2 of them, like, okay, maybe someone made them. But if there's thousands of them, now we really need to think about, did someone actually make them? Like, why did they make them? What was the purpose of making them? Just like because it really is like, well, I felt like it. They really liked making spheres. So let's go on though. Like, according to him, these objects can be used for centuries and are still sitting where they are after 1,000 years. So it's very difficult to say exactly when they were made. Down here they say who made them and why. So like, there's literally nowhere in this paper where they even entertain and dismiss the possibility that they're naturally made spheres. They just literally jump in and are like, who made them and why? And then he goes on and says, very difficult to say exactly when they were made. And they literally use techniques of dating them by not dating them, but by dating adjacent things that they find generally near enough to them that they attribute to the same people. And so they're not even dating them, but concluding them to have been made by these people. All the more reason that they don't know what they're talking about, no offense. The culture of the people who made the spheres became extinct shortly after the Spanish conquest. So there are no myths or legends or other stories that are told about why. All the more reason. All the more reason. There's myths about things all over the place. The flood, that happened. There's not myths about these spheres that are, maybe it's because they're naturally made. So let's check out some more spheres to really, like, this is what they look like. So I would say it's just a different material. And it's possible that the people in the region found them and moved them. Even looking at this sphere, you can subtly see curvatures to it. Like it has a structure. That one too. It has structure. This one too. It's got like this one's real subtle. Dude, this one almost looks like a concretion in there. I don't know how good your guys' screen is. Save image as stone spheres. Let's click it. This one was easier to see from afar almost. This one's pretty clear. So they're not just like this smooth. Also, they're not perfect spheres. Like claiming they're perfect spheres is definitely not like the most valid. Certainly, they tend towards it more with a greater regularity than Moiraki boulders do. I will admit that. But there are Moiraki boulders that are pretty much as spherical as any of these things I've seen. I don't. Let's see if like this one. This one. Not this one, not this one, but those two, at least in those portions. There's one that I found. Whoa. Even kind of looks like an ammonite. With these things outward, and then this like spiral region center with a column type of region. Never seen that picture. That's incredible. It's because I have broken in its sphere. There it is. Pardon me, ma'am. She's like, hey, I didn't mind. Maybe. I don't know. Just in case. I don't know. Hey, oh. It's pretty dark, huh? Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Anyway, it's indistinguishable from a perfect sphere. Like, let's see if I can do this. Certainly is real close. It's a little. I'm not sure if a sphere from any angle would probably look like a circle. So it should, if it's a perfect sphere, it should perfectly fit, I think. I'm not sure if that's correct. Like if it's up here though, and you're looking at it, I feel like it still should look. Alright, you get my point. Let's check out some more though. So there's also the Kotu boulders. Those are more rock. Why did it not change to them? Which are nearby in New Zealand, but not the same location. Some of which have cool features like Shalagrammy. I don't know. Certainly that one that was looking like an ammonite. That looks like they look like planets. Like that looks like a planet. Like a gas giant. But then I did an image search of some things of this. This is something I looked for. Let's check it out. Spherical balls, Earth geology, something of that nature. Just literally like. Something of this nature. And I ended up finding this thing. I was like, where's this? Took a picture of it into Google Lens. And then I found all these pictures where I noticed, I was like, oh my god, this is probably a good way for me to just look around and like start to really, just like I did with the KT boundary, look to see how many impacts there are. Like there's Chicxulub, it's kind of like, oh, there's these boulders. But then like look and see how many instances, like Meraki boulders, the Kotu boulders, but those are kind of the same. Then there's like shallograms. Some of them are like truly pretty spherical. That one's not quite from this angle, but like some of them are literally spheres and don't even have any features, just are like a sphere. That's not what I was looking for though. I was gonna go to related rock formations. Then there's like this one, which kind of got flattened. Like it maybe formed more spherical, and just the weight of this conjoined layer, because it's not just supporting this material, it's also energetically coupled to the material adjacent, so it like pulls that material energetically to support even more weight on this object, which just is what's happening. It's like layers with particles that then have layers as boundaries to make like a membrane. Of like an atom like this within a membrane. That was real interesting. It starts out spherical or circular, and then it branches into 4 sides here, 5 or 6 on this one, different even more on that one. But so let's check out the Valley of Balls. Valley of Balls, baby. This is in Kazakhstan. Shept. Let's go to Shept, Kazakhstan. This is where you find out I can't spell that whatsoever. I feel like it should have came up if it's gonna find it. Okay, good. Nice. Nice. Interesting. Look at that. There's this feature here. Let's take. We can get rid of this now. Let's zoom out a bit. There's this, and then it has another like lobe thing going this way, and this seems to have another going down here and over here and maybe up, down. So it's part of this. This then goes up, down, and then over here it like bends in like a dendrite shape. Maybe. I mean, certainly not like completely random. It looks like it's at the center of like a sort of figure 8 type thing, like some pinch point in this region of energy. A pinch point. It looks like it's at some pinch point. So that's interesting. Or maybe it's just this whole region. Or maybe it's not at the pinch point, but it's like 2 currents colliding. One goes up and then the downflow, the bubbles, the kind of idea again. Bubbles, like maybe it's only over here. Even though it says Shep. Gang, Western Kazakhstan. We can see like a opening in there. Definite porosity. I don't think this is like caves made by man. This is like a porosity present. That's cool. So cool. It's just, wow. This one's real cool. It's got like a disc top on one of the poles and then chunks around it. Probably another pole on the other side. I don't know. Or some kind of counter pole equivalent. Just a field of them. Different shapes, but still. Whoa. Like maybe they all stood on these and rolled down. No. Oh my god, that's gorgeous. Just etched out. Deposited and then etched out. What contrast. Wow. That's pretty unique looking. I don't know if I've seen such contrast. It's really white and really dark. And then this is even pretty dark. Even though it's more of a... plants and stuff. What was that about? It's straight up an image from there, I think. What? It's so cool. I wonder... This might be time to go to YouTube, Valley of Balls. Shept. I think I spelled that right. Land of the Great Steppe. Stone balls. Valley of the Balls. They're all pretty short. There's one about those. That might be good for me to check out. He's probably presents the line of reasoning why they're not why they're man-made and not natural. That is at least either the consensus or what he interprets, or he disagrees. Maybe, I don't know. He probably, if he disagrees, he's probably researched it enough to present like the interpretation better than I have seen at casual glance. Value of the balls. They're all so short, I guess I'll just pick one. Pardon me. Let's go over here. Like, what? Straight line. And then it, like, the top of it, the whole top of it is like it's like a turtle shell with a straight line down the middle. Like back there, you can kind of see this looks kind of like an ammonite. Like the way it is this way, with these branches around it, and then this crack region. Just different materials, different like nuance of circumstances, but same general process that a current induced it. You even see the curves just like on a shallogram of the current etchings. Okay. Got drone footage. Not much on them, honestly. It's a little... Whoa. Whatever that is, generally points over here. Like maybe a flow from over this region went through this way, and a flow was going this way. So it crossed here, inducing a like a resistance, building up material on this side, and then just slowing down the current maybe, and then just making it compile more on this side as well, by like bringing stuff with it even. Although I wonder if there's like a distinct difference in the materials of these two. Like this one looks like it's got some like whatever this red color is. Looks maybe over here. I guess maybe over here. Wow. Is it? Oh, this is just drilling for or getting oil or whatever, isn't it? Is it? I don't know. It looks mined, but maybe not. What? How incredible. If that's naturally like that, what am I looking at? It's gotta just be saturated with oil. Oh shit. There's this little, what is this? Like a nucleus right there. Like an eye, the eye of this length. This side has also this going on, which tends to happen. Like if we look at, let's pull this out. If we look at here, happens where there's one side, a current coming this way, a current coming this way that then is flowing over here, down this way, and just swirling. So then it goes this way, this way, this way. But as a result of this, it produces this feature and not this feature. Here, not here. Same thing over here, where we've got a swirling center of Yellowstone that goes up this way. around, and then on this side it goes much more elongated, and then with these like cross things. And then over here at the center of the Yellowstone, this thing going out this way, and also maybe going out this way, is the magnetic anomaly map for structure beneath Bighorn Mountain that it behaves like a negative positive, like anode cathode kind of thing with Yellowstone. So there's there, not just there even, there's over here where it happens here above the Himalayas by Tarim Basin, where there's this structure. So it goes out this way, and then it has like a nucleus, and then it goes out this way and has, I guess it has a counter, like anti-nucleus, like a depression versus a mound. And then on the side of the depression there are these flows that go this across the overall arch of this region, and even like again and again, so like over this arch going out this way then has a cross current here. So over here, so that maybe that's why, like, first of all, there is no like mound on this side. There's a mound on this side, like at the heart of it. Where was it? Was it that? Let's see if I can get a different map up. I'd like to turn on topographical. I just don't know how to use Google Maps as well, or Earth as well as maps. I don't know if it has it. Like that looks like roads. I don't think it's mined. I think it's actually elevated. I would like to see though. Let's go to maps. Wait, where was I? I mean, it's real distinct, first of all. Terrain. Here's the center. Doesn't say elevation of where I'm mousing. I thought it would say my elevation over my mouse. 400. I'm trying to find right here if it's like 400, 400. 200. It looks like it's lower than here. I wonder if we can find this real quick here too. Let's actually find this location because it's right next to this body of water, so it should be pretty easy. It's right here. It's so hard to make out what's happening sometimes. I don't see it. Here's Saudi Arabia, Arabian Peninsula. Sorry, guys. Arabian Peninsula inward. It's like they don't have it marked. Oh, they don't have it marked. That's weird because they marked this lake. They marked the Black Sea, not the Caspian Sea. Okay then, it's 44 degrees and a little bit more, and then 52 and a little bit more. 44, 52. So I gotta do 52, 44. And this one, 52. Oh, do they mark it? Is it all the way up here? 44, 52. This is probably where the Caspian Sea is. 44, 52. It's basically along this thing, I guess. So there's a current going this way that then bends across this way. It's generally going across here, but then it's getting pushed over this way also by like the deflection of it all, and caused essentially like this. There's one current going this way that builds a boundary here overall that basically is all the way up here. That then when another current, the same current but at a different stage in the process, comes back this way, it then pushes a boundary and a secondary boundary and a tertiary boundary, crossing them but also being stopped by them and being deflected, some of which basically wraps around into here. So it goes around, and honestly, around, and basically swirls into where I was generally around here. So this is what, 38.5, 40, 55, 38.5, 54.5, let's say, just to get an idea how far that stretches. Wait, that was here, right? 44, 52. Yeah. And then that structure, it might actually go this way. It goes towards almost exactly, we could say, towards here. So to right around here. Just before Sweden, I think. Right here. And then I guess kind of... How would it do that? Wrapping around this. or going out. Let me see though. That is where he was it here, I think? In Estonia. Right there. I don't necessarily think there would be spheres there. Just kind of curious. These are on the surface here. Okay, so it's basically going all the way, though, from here to there to there. Maybe across this way, then. For this. Okay, 38 point. Let's just put it in. So all this whole line, basically to Moscow. Just about. Just about to Moscow. This length. Not to give you any ideas, American military. I know what you guys are up to. Don't even think I don't. Anyway, it's almost like an X there. So, basically, coming in this way, wrapping around, and just swirling in towards maybe here, in an underground thing, but maybe energetically above ground some reason, going all the way down to this far end to really see above ground vibrational manifestations over like over here, like a snake tail of the process even. I don't know. Okay, before I get too much into just straight up contemplating why they're in locations, let's check out some more. Hour and 3 minutes, I probably looked at like 6 of them. Let's just see what we can find. There's gotta be other places. Also, before I move on from Valley of Balls, we gotta look at these more. This one. What? This made me think of tidally locked systems maybe being energetically more like this than we realize. Like some subtle shell that's present that's actually physically like Earth has a shell of its like Van Allen belts, and then they also like shell around the moon, and then it tightly locks as the Earth rotates. This shell like holds it there. I don't know, something of that nature. Where like in other instances they're less coupled, maybe. This one I found real interesting, just like the roundedness of these layers, like circle rings. And then just that it has a shell and an inner particle. It's also a sphere. Outer, like, soft, brittle material, seemingly, compared to this. Here, this one. Definitely. Oh my god, look at that. It's just like a scoop. Crazy. Then they have little ones. I had not seen those little ones. That's awesome. Sea balls. Oh. Not it. Okay. Balls pyramid. Then there's in Bosnia, which is... Let's find the exact location. Actually, I'll be back. Alright, peace out.